Hi, good morning, everyone. It's Bob at Canada's Boxing Channel. This morning, I thought I'd chat about a couple of things I've seen online. A bunch of people have been commenting about whether or not Tyson Fury is delusional, and also people have been asking about where would he sit in terms of all-time great and Hall of Fame, etc. Now, a lot of these channels have gone into a great deal of depth and detail, and I don't plan on doing that at this very early stage of being a baby YouTuber. But I thought I would share my thoughts. So, delusional. Let's talk about that first. Now, I think somebody is delusional. They believe that the washing machine is talking to them or something like that, which is patently not possible. Had it been the dryer, that might have been something entirely different. But no, seriously. When people believe something that is patently, objectively not true, then they are delusional. That's, of course, a severe mental problem brought on by either a disease or the ingestion of substances. A number of people have said that Tyson Fury is delusional because he believes that he beat Alexander Usyk first fight and second fight. I don't subscribe to that theory. I actually think Tyson Fury is a very smart man. He's done incredibly well financially and in every other regard professionally. And usually people who have severe problems, they're not that successful. They flame out. Tyson Fury has been very successful. He's made a tremendous amount of money, and he's held on to his money. What I think is a little different. I think that Tyson Fury fully knows how he performed in each of the fights he's had. He's a student of boxing. He's been doing it since he was a kid. He's also a boxing historian. I think he is fully aware of how he has done in each of the fights he's had, but that he's trapped, and I don't mean that he's like a victim here, not at all. He's trapped in a narrative that he and his close advisors and promoters, etc., have made. And that narrative has to be stuck to, because to do otherwise might bring down his whole house of cards, or his whole career. I shouldn't say house of cards. That sounds a little bit too harsh, possibly. And so I think that Tyson has to stick to this, I'm the greatest ever, no man born of his mother, blah, blah, blah. And importantly, that he beat Usyk and that he was jobbed on the cards. I very much doubt if we'll ever see any change in that narrative. Now, I might be wrong. I might well be wrong. Maybe he does believe that he won. I doubt it, though. And he's surrounded by people who probably know what really happened in all his fights. It's kind of inconceivable to believe that Sugar Hill and Andy Lee would say, oh yeah, hand on heart, he won. They might say that to Tyson. I don't know. This is one of the problems, right? You've got a guy who's very, very wealthy, very powerful in that profession, and everybody around him, in his entourage, if you like, everybody around him is making money off him, and people will tell athletes, oh yes, champ, you've got it, you're the greatest, you've got more fights in you. Sometimes they'll say that not because they've got the best interest of the fighter in mind, but they've got their own paychecks in mind. I think about Muhammad Ali, who really should never have been allowed to step in the ring with Larry Holmes, and absolutely shouldn't have been allowed to step in the ring with Trevor Burbank. But people were telling him all sorts of things, and those people were making money. So I think that could also be the case with Tyson. Though I suspect that Tyson is smart enough. He knows the truth. And so he's just being untruthful, dishonest. I suppose you could say dishonest. Dishonest in that he's attempting to get everybody else to believe something that he himself knows isn't true. That would be dishonest. So that's probably where I think Tyson is. Now, should he be considered an all-time great? Or Hall of Fame? I think a lot of people can get into the Hall of Fame without being an all-time great, so I'll leave that for maybe another video or discussion for others to have. But all-time great, it depends on how you define all-time great. Some people will add in other factors, like was this person significant at the time? Did they do a lot for the sport? Did their fights transcend boxing and become something, of more general, broader appeal? But I think no matter how you slice it, Tyson Fury, in my view, doesn't make it as a top 15 all-time heavyweight. And I say that not because I'm a Tyson Fury hater. Like I say, I don't like what the guy says outside the ring, but inside the ring, he's, a talented man. There's no doubt about it. But I look at his CV, or his resume, if you like, and who has he fought? His best fight, and I don't think anybody could take anything away from him here, was going over to Dusseldorf to fight Vladimir Klitschko. In Vlad's backyard, Tyson Fury put on probably the best performance of his career. Arguable. Whether that or the second Wilder. I think, most people would say that it was one of those two. And after he fought Klitschko, what did he really do? He didn't give Klitschko a rematch, which honestly I think Vlad deserved. But then Tyson drifted a little bit, right? He did make a tremendous comeback, beating depression and all the other related problems that he had, whether substances or booze or whatever. Credit to the man for coming back, and I don't think that can ever be taken away from him. And he fought Deontay Wilder. Now, at the time, Wilder's reputation was, shall we say, it hadn't suffered the way that it has suffered recently. I think if we look at Wilder now, we say Wilder was a limited champion who had one great attribute and he made the best of his talents. But beating Wilder, I don't think goes down as, beating somebody that was a top fighter. But it is what it is. You can only fight the people in front of you. And in my view, Tyson Fury won all three of the fights against Wilder. Officially, it was a draw and 2 wins. And I think that that's also creditable. So we've got Vladimir Klitschko. We've got Wilder. He beat Steve Cunningham, who I think had been a champion at the time that Fury beat him. But as a cruiserweight. Who else did he beat? Chisora, Dillian White, Otto Wallin. He's kind of lucky to beat Wallin, actually. That hideous cut. But his resume isn't deep. It's really... It's okay. I'm not going to say it's, he's been fighting tomato cans or taxi drivers. I don't even like using those kind of terms, really. But it's not a great resume. I was watching, I think it's Blue Collar Sports. And the chap on there was saying that he thought of Tyson Fury as a bit like Britain's Riddick Bowe. A guy with a lot of talent who just didn't make the most of it. And I'm not sure I agree there. I think I can see why somebody would say that. I think Tyson has been very well managed, and he has been allowed to show himself at his best. And it's only recently, when he was essentially forced to fight Alexander Usyk, that we've seen the limitations of Tyson. So, in my view, he's not an all-time great. He doesn't have the depth of resume. He hasn't beaten enough champions. If he was to continue and he was to beat Anthony Joshua and, say, Dubois, then maybe we could revisit it. But as of today, Tyson's saying he's retired. Now, whether that will be true or not, I don't think anybody knows. Personally, I think he'll carry on and fight AJ. It would be a huge amount of money. And I'd be rooting for AJ to beat Fury, but I think Fury would actually have the better of AJ, but we shall see. Anyways, those are my thoughts. To sum up, I don't think Tyson's delusional. I think he's dishonest. I think he's had some good fights. Klitschko and Wilder. But I don't think his resume is enough to be an all-time great. I'd like to know what other people think about this, so please leave your comments below. I promise to read them all and respond. And also, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you very much. Have a great day. Cheers.